Hello everyone, welcome to Let's Crack UPSC CSE English. About me, I am Sandeep Bhushan Thummala, and about my credentials are I have 8 years of teaching experience for civil services. I teach international relations, internal security, and in-depth analysis of the newspaper, Hindu newspaper. And this video is in regards to how to crack prelims 2020, but prior to that you have a notification in regards to the Let's Crack UPSC CSE English channel, which is India's largest learning platform. And once you get subscribed to the channel, you will get access unlimited live and also recorded courses from India's best educators. And upon subscription, you will also have the various other privileges like daily live classes. You also have the live test and quizzes. Also, you have the structured courses and unlimited access. And these are the top educators at Unacademy. So the one who are on the screen, you can see them. They are the top educators. And in regards to the top educators, you also have the screen wherein you can see all the top educators here now. And in regards to UPSC CSE, Let's Crack UPSC CSE English, you have the various courses. They are in regards to the polity, geography, current affairs, and then in regards to UPSC CSE batches and various others which are also visible on your screen. Along with that, in regards to Let's Crack UPSC CSE English, the courses others are ethics, integrity, and aptitude. You have the internal security, CSAT, and all the others, including the interview preparation. So these are all the in regards to the UPSC CSE, these are all in regards to the courses which are also on your screen. And in regards to the subscription, UPSC Let's Crack UPSC CSE English subscription, you have 12-month subscription and 24-month subscription. For 12-month subscription, the original amount is 40,000 rupees, and for 24-month subscription, the original amount is 48,000. So you can go ahead with subscribing using my code the SBT10, that is Sandeep Bhushan Thummala, wherein you will get 10% discount. So it is always recommended that you go ahead with the subscription for 24 months, which is beneficial for you all because the amount for the 24 months is 48,000. Fine, and when you go ahead with subscription using my code SBT10, you would get a discount of 10%, and the discounted price upon 48,000 would be 43,200 for 24 months. So it is always recommended that you go ahead with a subscription with 24 months because you will be paying only for the amount of 12 months plus 1 month. That means you will be paying the amount of only 13 months, that is 40,000 plus 40,000 for 12 months and 8,000 for 1 month. So you will be paying effectively for the amount of 13 months, but you will get the subscription for the entire 24 months. So please do take the privilege opportunity. This is the opportunity. You take the privilege or the opportunity and then go ahead with the subscription for 24 months, which you will be paying only for 13 months, which you will be paying only for 13 months. And then please do use my code. By using my code SBT10, you will get additional 10% discount, and the original price, which is 48,000, will come down to, or the discounted price will be 43,200. So take the maximum benefit of going ahead with the subscription for 24 months because the serious UPSC preparation is required for 24 months. That is for 2 years. Solid preparation is required for UPSC. So go ahead with subscription, just paying for 13 months. So now we'll get into the topic, that is analysis of the Hindu newspaper, which we will go ahead with focusing on the, as I keep on repeating saying that I would be focusing on the keywords and the key phrases, which will be very important for the prelims and also for the mains point of view. And my class or my lecture or my video will definitely make you more equipped in regards to having a better understanding or a better and a thorough understanding in regards to all the news item. It could be all the contemporary issues which are coming in the newspaper. You will have a thorough understanding and a better understanding from prelims and also for the mains point of view. Before I get into the topic, I would say hi to good evening and hi to Arini. Now we'll get into the topic, that is The topics to be discussed for today is the RBI to pump and phased approach. So definitely RBI has gone ahead with pumping. So RBI has gone ahead with pumping money into the banking sector. So we know that very clearly. RBI has pumped, that is, it has pumped liquidity. It has pumped liquidity into the market. When I'm saying it has pumped liquidity into the market, it has pumped liquidity into the banks. It has pumped liquidate into the bank. So we will look at all that, how the RBI has taken various methods to pump liquidity into the banking sector, and this is very important topic. The RBI to pump money into the, not, I mean, it has done in regards to the banking sector, but now we look at the new concept. It is a lending hand to make sure that the economic activity will actually flourish, or it will actually, what you say, take off from now. The way it is going ahead with pumping the money. So we have this news item in regards to RBI to pump in 1 lakh crore rupees. So it will definitely go ahead with pumping 1 lakh crore rupees. So it is not for the first time that RBI is pumping money into, because we have seen earlier itself bank has pumped money or liquidity into the banks, which is almost close to 3% of the GDP of Indian government or Indian GDP. It has pumped 3.5% of the Indian GDP. So there is huge money which has been pumped into the banking sector earlier itself, and now the new the money or the funds which have been pumped is not directly into the banks, but it would be helping the NBFCs. It will be helping the NBFCs. It will be helping the NABARD and the SIDBI. So we'll definitely look at the NBFCs, NABARD and SIDBI, and how these funds are actually, the RBI is pumping money into the NBFCs, NABARD and SIDBI. This, as I said, it is not pumping directly into the banks. It is not pumping money into the banks. But through the banks, the money will get into the NBFCs, it will get into NABARD, and it will get into the SIDBI. NABARD and SIDBI. So we will look at how the money has been pumped into the micro, small and medium enterprises, into micro, small and medium enterprises, how the money has been pumped into the small and medium enterprises, and then into multilateral financial institutions. So we will look at how the money has been pumped into various sectors so that the economic activity actually flourishes or it takes off. So the main intention of the RBI is to make sure that the economic activity propels. Okay, Rekha Shivadhan sir, are only two topics discussed or enter into the paper? No, actually I have take up Rekha. It is in regards to which are really important, and which can be, what do you say, in regards to, again, we do have a kind of, what do you say, time limit. So taking into consideration of the time limit also, I'll make sure that the best can be taken into consideration. It's not that only two items daily. Looking into the, what do you say, various topics, and then time constraints, I would take up. And then RBI has gone ahead with a slew of measures, that is the liquidity measures. Why? To ease the financial stress. Why there is a financial stress? Because as we have seen that the entire country is under national lockdown. Because of the national lockdown, we have seen that the kind of economic crisis actually has evolved. Because of the economic crisis which has evolved, we have seen that the economic activities are almost standstill. Because of the economic activities, there is a financial stress. So what is important that the RBI is looking into is to make sure that it will pump money, so that it is trying to take into consideration that there would be more of liquidity into the market, that there would be more of liquidity. So that is what is that there has to be liquidity. When we are talking about liquidity here in this case, when the money is, what is it, more funds are being pumped into the NBFCs, NABARD and then SIDBI. Now we are especially talking about capital expenditure. This is very important, again keyword. So the RBI right now is focusing on the capital expenditure. Please do understand, not just pumping money into the banks. Now they are focusing on the capital expenditure, which has to be into the micro, small and medium enterprises, and also in the small and medium enterprises, and then in regards to the micro financial institutions. That how the money through NBFCs, NABARD and SIDBI will get into the different forms of the capital expenditure will go ahead. So that is what the point or the main intention of the RBI, to make sure that they would actually going ahead with different measures to pump the liquidity into the market. Why? Because to ease in the sense to make sure that the whatever the financial stress is there, that will be relieved, and also the RBI wants to make sure that they increase the credit flows. That means, as I was talking about the capital expenditure, the credit has to be increased. And how this will take place? By making sure that they have gone into making sure that reduction in the interest rate as inflation softens. So definitely they're wanting to go ahead with the pumping of money through the liquidity measures. So liquidity measures could be reverse repo rate or repo rate. I mean, this is repo rate, or it could be reverse repo rate. So when we are looking at the reverse repo rate and reverse repo rate, it has come down to what is a 4%, and again here also 4%. But again, if you look at the reverse repo rate, it has come down to 3.5% yesterday. So they are going ahead with pumping the money into the markets by making sure that they would be increasing the liquidity. But when they are increasing the liquidity, what will happen is inflation might also increase. There would be increase in inflation. So what they will do is, later on, when the inflation is increasing, again they would reduce the interest rates. That is what I was talking about, the repo rate and then the reverse repo rate. These two, again they would be slowly going ahead with changes in that, making sure that again they will suck out the liquidity whichever is increased in the market. So whenever there is more of liquidity in the market, they will try to suck the liquidity, that is excess amount. And then whenever there is the shortage of money in the market, that is in the with the banking sectors or with the people, so definitely again they will make sure that the interest rates will be reduced, so that the banks will be having more money with them, liquidity with them. And when the banks have more liquidity with them, the banks in turn should give the money or distribute or pass on the money, or they pass on the advantage of the excess of money what the banks have towards the individuals, or also towards the business activity, or the one who are into the business activity, in the form of the loans. So definitely the loans, then the interest rates of the loans will be reduced. So thereby many people will try to take the loans because of the reduce in the interest rate. So that is very important, that the government, I mean that the RBI is actually taking various measures to make sure that there is ease in the financial stress, and also in regards to the credit flows is also happening. So that, as we have discussed that. And among the measures, what is very important is that it is going ahead with the liquidity infusion. What we have also, I mean, this main is this liquidity infusion in the sense pumping money. How much money it is pumping? 1 lakh crores of rupees. 1 lakh crores of rupees. And out of this 1 lakh crores of rupees, RBI will make sure that 50,000 crores 50,000 crores will be exclusively, what you say, given to NBFCs. What are NBFCs? Non-banking financial companies. Non-banking financial companies are the one wherein the out of the 1 lakh crore rupees, 50,000 crores of rupees will be directly pumped into the NBFCs through various banks or the banking sectors. Through various banks, the 50,000 crores out of the total infusion of 1 lakh crores, the 50,000 would be pumped into the NBFCs. This is very important for prelims point of view. When we are talking about NBFCs, these are very important, because in the course of my discussion, I will let you know how these NBFCs, NABARD, SIDBI are really important in regards to the economic activity. So what is important now is to make sure that there is certainly economic activities which are functioning, and which has to actually, what you say, increase day by day, week by week. The economic activity should increase by making sure that the social distancing is taken into consideration. By making sure that the social distancing is also taken into consideration, the money has to be pumped. And the money what the RBI has come up with is now to pump the 1 lakh crore rupees. And out of this 1 lakh crore rupees, 50,000 crores of rupees will be pumped into the NBFCs, non-banking financial corporation. And from where the NBFCs will get money? It will get money from the from the banks. So Definitely it is from the RBI. The money is getting to the banks, and from the banks the money is getting into the non-banking financial corporations or companies, non-banking finance companies. So this is the, what you say, the cycle system, how the money is being pumped. And then RBI, earlier it has pumped more of liquidity into the banks, but still not much of economic activity has taken place. So RBI has decided that now the RBI will pump money into the NBFCs, but from the process of, or from through the banking sectors. How I will tell you. So there is one, how the money will, RBI, it will get into the NBFCs. It is called TLTRO. I will tell about this. What is TLTRO? Targeted long-term repo operation. Targeted long-term repo operation. So I will explain you about what is this. So how the money from the RBI is getting into the NBFCs. That is totally, it wanted to pump 1 lakh crores of rupees, 1 lakh crore of rupees, and from out of this 1 lakh crore of rupees, 50,000 crores will be directly getting into the NBFCs via banks. How via banks? I will tell. How it is, because of this concept. This, what do you say, liquidity measure. What is this liquidity measure called as? It is called a targeted long-term repo operation. What is that? I will explain. And then NBFCs have experienced liquidity shortage, and why the RBI has taken the initiative that it will crores of money into the non-banking finance companies, because the NBFCs have experienced shortage of liquidity. Because of shortage of liquidity, NBFCs are unable to again give loans to the borrowers. So to whom the NBFCs will give loans? These NBFCs will give again loans to whom? Because they give loans to the micro, small and medium enterprises, or to say small and medium enterprises, or they will give loans to the regional rural banks, or they will give loans to the cooperative banks. So look at how the NBFCs in turn will refinance. In turn will, please look at these keywords I'm using. In turn will refinance. They will refinance to micro, small and medium enterprises, regional rural bankings, and then cooperative banks. So these are the various, again from here, again the money gets into different kinds of people, different sectors, different kinds of people. The money is being again given in the form of loans. So that means ultimately the economic activity will take place. So this is how the focus is in regards to the measures taken by the RBI to make sure that they have pumping money into the NBFCs, that is 50,000 crores of rupees. And as the NBFCs are actually experiencing the liquidity shortage, the banks have observed that they will make sure that they will pump money into the NBFCs. And what are the ways that banks will invest, or the banks will pump into the NBFCs? They will invest the funds. Please do understand this concept. This is very important for the prelims point of view. How the banks will again pump money into the NBFCs, that it will go ahead with a new kind of, what you say, or it will invest. Banks will invest. Please do understand here. Banks will invest the funds. How the funds? What are the funds here? What the liquidity RBI has provided to the banks. The liquidity what RBI has provided to the banks will be, that money, that liquidity, excess money or bud money will be invested in the funds. What funds they will be investing? They will be investing in these funds. What are that? It is targeted long-term repo operation. Please do understand this. That is what I was talking about here. RBI to banks, banks to NBFCs. So RBI to banks, it will take place, and banks will invest in, what you say, NBFCs. How? In the form of TLTRO. What is that? Targeted long-term repo operation. So here what it will do is, banks will invest the money into the TLTRO. How? In different forms. In regards to, what you say, they will purchase the bonds, or they will purchase, what you say, the corporate bonds again here, commercial papers. They will go ahead with the purchase of bonds, commercial papers, and non-convertible debentures of NBFCs. So these are the different ways how the banks will invest the funds. So they are investing the funds in the TLTRO. And how TLTRO they are investing? By purchasing the bonds, by purchasing few commercial papers, and then non-convertible debentures. So when the banks are investing in this way, by bonds, commercial paper and all that, again the money is getting into the NBFCs. That is, more of liquidity is getting into the NBFCs. That is what this picture is very clearly saying that. And once it gets into NBFC, again NBFC can again go ahead with giving or giving to the many borrowers in the form of loans or through loans. And the RBI has called out risk of attitude. So definitely the banks will now have a kind of inhibition. Why should we invest the funds? If we invest the funds in the bonds and commercial papers, so definitely there could be a possibility that we will lose the interest, because this is repo operation. This is repo operation, in the sense there is a repurchasing or purchasing of almost close to 5.5 percentage of the interest rates the RBI will give to the banks when they are investing in TLTRO in the form of bonds, in the form of commercial papers. The RBI will give 5.5 percentage to the banks in or purchasing the bonds, or they are purchasing the commercial papers, they are investing in the commercial papers. So in this way there would be a chance of banks thinking that why should we invest, and if there would be more of risk for us. So what the RBI has said is there will not be any kind of risk, because definitely the RBI is coming into the action, and then it is announcing that the 50,000 crore which it said that it will enter into the NBFCs through the form of TLTRO, that is through targeted long-term repo operation, which will be invested in the bonds, and it would be into the NBFCs and also the micro financial institutions, that what I was talking about, MFI, micro financial institutions. And this 50,000 will be actually it will be invested by the banks in the form of bonds and then commercial paper, and there would be auction. Actually the RBI will come up with the auction. RBI will come up with the auction. And what kind of auction they will come up? That they will have the auction of the first TLTRO for 25,000 crores of rupees, and this auction will take place on the April 23rd. And then what RBI says is this, out of this 25,000, this have to get into the small and mid-sized NBFCs. That means the money has to first get into the NBFCs. Again further when they are talking about it should get into the small and mid-sized NBFCs. That means it is calculated on the amount of asset value. It is calculated on the amount of asset value what the mid-size and then small size NBFCs are having, and then also in regards to pumping money into the micro financial institutions. So 50% of this will get into the micro and financial institutions, and the rest 50% will get into the NBFCs and MFS. So this is what is, and out of this 50%, how the calculation will go ahead, you need to understand this, because auction. Okay, when you are talking about auction, because what I was saying is this, the banks will invest the funds. Sorry, the banks will invest the funds, and when the banks are investing the funds in the form of through the LTRO, that is long-term repo operations. That is long-term repo operation, and this long-term repo operation is done by the RBIs. It is an instrument, or it is a new kind of instrument to pump in or to provide the liquidity. The RBI has come up with. So what it does is, now it says that this in the LTRO itself, this LTRO is a long-term repo operation wherein it is from 1 to 3 years. 1 to 3 years you can, the banks can invest it, and then the duration is from 1 to 3 years by purchasing the bonds. And then when they are purchasing the bonds, you will have an interest rate of 5.5 percentage. So here when I am saying purchasing the bonds, so when they purchase when the auction take place, and the auction takes place for the LTRO itself, and through the LTRO the banks RBI wanted to infuse 1 lakh crores of rupees, and for the first they wanted to go ahead with 50,000 crores of rupees. So out of this 50,000, the first 25,000 auction will take place on April 23rd. What is auction is here? Again when we are talking about, it is the purchasing the bonds. It is purchasing the bonds. So what it is doing is, it is purchasing the bonds. It purchases through auction. Please to understand, it purchases through auction, and this auction, when it is going ahead, it will be on the April 23rd, and then it is to the small and mid-size NBFCs, and then the rest 50%. How the RBI wanted to segregate? Please try to understand this. It is very very important, because 10% has to be invested by banks in MFIs. So whatever the banks purchase through the auctions, or through purchasing the bonds and then commercial papers through the auctions, they should invest 10% of that into the micro financial institutions, 10%, and then the 15% should be issued by NBFCs. By NBFCs, not banks here, by non-banking finance corporations or companies which has the asset value of rupees 500 crore and below. First 15% will be invested here, and then again issued by NBFCs, wherein the 25% will be between they will be investing in between 500 crores and 5000 crores. So here it is very clear that they are identifying the asset value. And then based on the asset value of the company, it is termed as, what do you say, small and mid-sized. So depending upon that asset value, whether it is 500 crores or below 500 crores, less than, or it is between 500 crores and then it is, what do you say, equal to or greater than greater and equal to 5000 crores. So here it is very clear that depending upon that, the 25 percentage out of the 50, the 25 percentage, 25 percentage to 500 to 5000 crores, above that asset value NBFCs, the auction has to take place. And then next it will be in regards to the 25%, next 10% would be for the banks to invest in the MFIs, to give it in the MFIs through to the MFIs through the securities, and 15% to the one who asset value is 500 crores. So definitely there is a kind of, what you say, a very well organized segregation, which the RBI is making sure that the money is pumped into the NBFCs wherein the economic activity will take place. And this RBI is also decided to provide, this is very very important, provide what? Provide the refinance facility. This is important. Provide what? Provide the refinance facility. This is important for even for prelims point of view and mains point of view, because this is a concept which is used, or which is again what RBI is actually doing now. What RBI has pumped 1 lakh crores of rupee is through refinance facility only. So this keyword refinance facility is important for you for the prelims and also for the mains point of view. And this is a special being provided by RBI. This is a special provision provided by the RBI, and what it is doing is, the 50,000, next 50,000 out of the first 50,000 into out of 1 lakh, it is been pumped through the, what is a LTRO, this one LTRO, fine, and the next it will be refinance facility. So when it is refinancing the facility, it is refinancing to NABARD, it is refinancing to SIDBI, it is refinancing to National Housing Bank. So look at here, 50,000 crores will go to NABARD, equal, in a different proportionate, out of 50,000 to NABARD, SIDBI and NHB. So these three are very important for, again, for prelims point of view and mains point of view, while you are writing an answer for the point called as refinance facility. Refinance facility. Financing is done by RBI to banks, and banks to, again, non-banking financial corporation. From non-financial corporation, again refinancing will take place from banks to NABARD and then SIDBI and again National Housing Bank. Fine. And if you look at again this 50,000 crores, how the money is distributed. The money is distributed within 50,000, 25,000 crores goes to NABARD, wherein again NABARD will refinance. Please do understand here. NABARD will again refinance to regional rural banks. NABARD will again refinance to microfinance institutions. NABARD will again refinance to the NHBs. I'm extremely sorry, it will refinance to cooperative banks, cooperative banks. So here NABARD will go ahead with refinancing to regional rural banks, cooperative banks, and then the microfinancial institutions. That is 25,000 crores. Again, the 15,000 crores apart from, part of the 50,000 crores, 50,000 will be financed to SIDBI. Again, the SIDBI will go ahead. What is SIDBI? It is a Small Industries Development Bank. It is Small Industries Development Bank. Again, this SIDBI will go ahead with making sure that there would be, this is a development bank. In regards to what it is development bank, it is in regards to small industries, it will develop. So again from here, it will be lending or refinancing to the small companies or ancillaries or factories. The smaller, what do you say, small, medium industries, it will go ahead. So, and the rest 10% will go for the NHB. What is NHB? It is National Housing Bank, which is totally owned by the RBI. And what does this NHB does? Again, it goes ahead with supporting the housing finance corporations. So you have various finance corporations. So those finance corporations, housing finance corporation, will again, what you say, NHB will be pumping money to various that. You have, LIC, Housing Finance Corporation. You have many others, wherein because of all this only, because we have this, all this, wherein this again NABARD, SIDBI, or National Housing Bank, all this, when they go ahead with the loans, again they are unable to recollect the loans. That is what is happening to them. So they are unable to again go ahead with the loans. That is what they are again getting into the form of the, the NBFCs are again unable to pay the money to the banks. When when they are unable to pay the money to the banks, and these banks are becoming NPAs, or they are, what you say, bankrupt. So what is important is, now they are not focusing on the bankrupt. What they are focusing is only on the economic activity, and that is why the RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das has gone ahead with the concept of refinancing facility, and this is very important for the prelims point of view and also for the mains point of view. Refinancing facility, and then the banks goes ahead with refinance facility to NABARD, SIDBI, National Housing Bank, and then NABARD will again, what do you say, pump money or provide money towards refinancing to regional rural banks, cooperative banks, and then micro financial institutions. And then again SIDBI would again go ahead with refinancing to the, or lending the refinance to smaller, what is it, industries. And then national housing banks will go ahead with again lending or refinancing to the, or supporting the housing finance companies. And then the government has gone ahead, the RBI has gone ahead with again reducing the repo rate. As I said, it was 4%, just, what is it, 6th or 7th of April, the RBI has come up with repo rate from almost 6% to 4%, and now again from 4% it has reduced to 25 basis point. So now it is 3.75%. Why? It is because they wanted to make sure that the banks are having more money. The banks are having more money, and that RBI wanted the banks should have more money, but it should not be, banks should not act as a lazy banking. That means when there is more money with the banks should not park their money with them, but in turn they should, what you say, lend the money in the form of loans. And this loans is again they should give it to the to the non-banking financial companies, wherein this money, the bank should not be working as a lazy banking, parking the money with them, excess funds with them, but rather giving the lunch, or is a funds, lending them to the non-banking finance companies, so that from this again micro, small and medium enterprises will be taking loans. Along with this, the small and medium enterprises will also go ahead with taking loans. So thereby economic activity will come into existence. So this is all about it. And then you have a next topic in regards to the Trump again. Trump gives the state governors option on lifting restrictions. So look at, it is in regards to the federal structure, that the US President Donald Trump has given all the governors a roadmap for what? For a recovering of the economic pain, what they have, what entire world has, what do you say, experienced it, and in regards to the US, what they have experienced it because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And Trump has said that this roadmap is in a phased and a deliberate approach. It is a phased and a deliberate approach. So this is very important. How phased manner the US president is going ahead, and how deliberate his approach is in regards to making sure that they come out of the economic pain. They come out of the economic pain and then go ahead with the normal activity which are supposed to take place, because this all have taken place because of the COVID-19, and then focusing on the normal activity, that they would also make sure that the strong testing would also be in place, and then with strong testing, making sure that there would be decrease in the COVID-19 patients, that is the infected patients, but making sure that again normal activity will come into existence by a phased and a deliberate approach. And that is the phased and deliberate approach is to make sure that they are coming out of the economic pain. And to come out of the economic pain, Donald Trump has given a roadmap to the governors, and it is now up to the governors to decide whether they have to go ahead with economic activity or lift the restrictions or the lockdown, and then how to go ahead. And then the Trump has come up with a roadmap, that is with the new guidelines. What guidelines are it? That there are in regards to easing in the sense relaxing the restrictions because of the lockdown in areas wherever there are low transmission, or else wherever there are, what do you say, not much of hotspots areas because of the spread of the coronavirus, or wherein many of the people are not infected very severely, the number is not high. So there they can be, what do you say, the restrictions can be lifted. But wherein there are the harder hit location, that is wherever you see the more of, what do you say, the infections of patients are high, then they would go ahead with restrictions. They will go ahead with the restrictions. So that is the roadmap which the Donald Trump has gone ahead with discussing with the governors. And then this is in regards to this roadmap is in regards to the three-phase opening. So in and this three-phase opening will be a gradual reopening. When we are talking about the gradual reopening, and reopening is basically for the businesses and for the schools. Basically the businesses is for the, sorry, the reopening is in regards to the businesses and for the schools. And then there are three phases. What are this? The phase 1 you have, the phase 2 you have, and then phase 3, how they have come up with the roadmap. In the first phase, their plan is to recommend a strict social distancing. In the first phase, they will go ahead with a strict social distancing for all the people in the public. And then the gathering will not be more than 10 people. So that there will not be much of, what you say, the spread of virus will take place. And then they are against, what you say, the non-essential travel. Whenever they are traveling just because of, what you say, they have travel, or they should travel, or it is not really required at that situation. So those kind of travels are discouraged. And then the gatherings will not be more than 10 people, and then social distancing is recommended, strictly recommended. So that is phase 1. Phase 2 is that people are encouraged to maximize social distancing, and here when they are looking at it, it is not strict, but people are encouraged to maximize. So it is up to the, I mean, this leaving to the people discretion, that whether they have to go ahead with the social distancing, but they have to, what is a follow few things. And then here if we look at the, in the first phase, the gathering was just up to 10 people, but in the second phase the gathering will not be more than 50 people. So that means they would identify or locate the various locations, how the impact would be by the infected patients, and then accordingly the phases will be taken up. I mean, the gathering or the social distancing or the preventive measures would be taken into consideration. And then in the second phase, the travel will be resumed. That means in the first phase, one only when it is the essential case, then the traveling can be taken into consideration. But here in the second phase, the travel can be resumed. That means wherever the social distancing can be maximized, encouraged to maximize, and then the gathering will be not more than 50 people. And in the third phase, there it would be just like returning to the normalcy, just like returning to the normalcy. And here the focus is, when they are returning to the normalcy, the focus is there. And what is the focus all about? It is in identifying and then isolating the people, so that the one who are symptomatic, they would be identified and then they would be isolated. That means they would be quarantined. When they will be quarantined, or they are quarantined because new infections should not arise, that is the main intention of the third phase. And then all these are recommended by the, what you say, president to the states, and they have passed the checkpoints, that at a new cases they have to go ahead with the identification, isolation, and then testing, and then surveillance data is actually taken into consideration over every 14 days. And then depending upon the data, depending upon the kind of infection which are coming down, and then I mean in regards to the deaths, mortality rate, if it is coming down, then slowly the phases will move from one phase to another phase. So it all depends upon the 14-day period data which they will look at. They go ahead with the surveillance, and then based on that they will make sure that the three phases will be taken into consideration. And then it is up to the governors, the state governors to decide whether they have to go ahead with which phase. And then we have seen the hard hit one is New Jersey, and you have here Washington. New Jersey is one, and this is Washington DC. This place is Washington DC, and New Jersey is the one which is very badly hit. Fine. So this is in regards to the 2 points which we have discussed, in regards to RBI, and then in regards to the US president going ahead with the giving the entire discretion to the governors. And then when we are talking about here, it is in regards to the federal structure, what they are maintaining, giving the entire discretion to the governors, so that they have to decide which phase is really fit into the respective states. Then I presume that this was an informative in regards to the RBI, the way it has gone ahead with infusing funds into the or refinancing facility. That is very important. So refinancing facility, and then the way it has gone ahead with pumping money into the NBFCs, and then NABARD, SIDBI, National Housing Bank, and then making sure that the money is going ahead in only in regards to the economic activity which will be taken into consideration. So I hope this was a informative session. Please do go ahead with liking the video, subscribe the video, and then hit the bell button when you are watching the video. That is Let's Crack UPSC CSE English. And if you haven't subscribed for the Let's Crack UPSC CSE English, please go ahead with subscribing using my code SBT10, that is Sandeep Bhushan Thummala, and then you would get 10% discount. And then make sure that you are subscribing for 24 months, because as I repeat that you will be paying only for the 13 months amount, you will be paying only for the 13 months, but you will get the subscription for the entire 24 months. And then if you haven't downloaded the Unacademy app, please go ahead with downloading the Unacademy app, wherein you can be part of the Unacademy special classes. You can be part of this Unacademy special classes, and then make sure